Welcome to IROC Business With Confidence, the podcast where passion meets profit without the pressure of a big price tag. I'm your host, Corey Fonville Foster, transformational speaker, certified business coach, trainer, and the CEO behind the mic. In every episode, we dive deep into the heart of entrepreneurship, bringing you stories, strategies, and tips to monetize your passions while maintaining your budget. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or looking to scale up, this is your go-to resource for affordable sales and marketing strategies. Join us as we interview small business experts from around the globe, sharing their journeys, challenges, and the solutions that propelled them to success. IROC Business with Confidence podcast is here to demystify the process of running a successful business on a budget. Get ready to transform your entrepreneurial dreams into reality, one episode at a time. All right, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Corey Fonville Foster, your host, and I am so excited today because this is going to be a really great session for those of you who have maybe started your businesses and you're really at a place where you are trying to scale up. I was actually talking to our guest before we started and I said, a lot of what we talk about really focuses on the new entrepreneur, the startup. But some of you guys have been doing this for a while now and you're ready to take that next leap into really scaling up your business and really bringing in the kind of revenue of your dreams. And so today's guest is going to help us do just that. So today's guest is Adam Liette, and we're going to be talking about building an operating system to run your business. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest. He is the founder and director of Smooth Operations, which helps entrepreneurs create the systems and workflows needed to scale online companies. As the former director of operations for one of the world's largest online music education companies, these systems tripled the team size and increased revenue over 600% in the last 2 years. Earning the 2 Comma Club Award from ClickFunnels, he's a 12-year veteran of the U.S. Army Special Operations, in addition to having a Master's of Business Administration. So guys, he is not new to this, he's true to this. Let's bring on Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Corey. Man, I got to say, your whole podcast introduction, that video, and then the way you rolled in, I'm taking notes because I got my own show too. I'm like, oh, sweet. That looks awesome.
Thank you. I'm excited. We have a couple things in common. Well, look, I wasn't in the Army, but I'm an Army brat. And so I love seeing that because I know that when you're in the military, there's a lot of structure. And I think that with business, you need that structure. So I'm sure that you not only pull in your civilian life working with companies, but also that military experience you have. What was it, 12-year veteran? That's crazy. You stuck in it for a while.
Well, 12 years active.
Okay.
I was in the airborne the entire time. So Between airborne infantry and then special operations teams. And I'm in the reserve still, so I'm 2 years away from retiring. It's a full 20-year career. So in between running this business and the kids, I still do Army stuff a little bit. But may you live an interesting life.
Yes. Well, can you tell us any secrets?
Well, no. I can tell you, I've got to experience so many different things, and especially making more out of little. Because that's kind of the secret of special ops teams. It's 2 or 3 guys, maybe. And that old thing from the movie, you'll see hey, fly to this country, a guy will meet you at the airport. That happens in real life.
Wow.
And so making do with what you got and figure out how to get super creative with that it's definitely influenced how I've been able to do online business as well.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what got you into business. You're the director of Smooth Operations. Tell us a little bit about kind of that journey from being active duty in the military to now running that amazing business.
So I like to say I literally fell into it because I did. I was doing some training and I was coming off an obstacle course and I broke my ankle about 4 different spots and had surgery, the whole 9 yards. And suddenly I find myself in bed being told, hey, just sit here for 2 months. And it was kind of fun the first 4 days until I had to lay off the Percocet. And I don't sit still very well, so I started looking online, watching YouTube videos, and I discovered this guy, Russell Brunson, and that pretty much opened the rabbit hole By the time I got out of bed and two months later and started physical therapy, I already had a funnel hacker account. I was already getting gigs on Upwork, moonlighting, doing this entrepreneur thing, and setting the stage for the next year and a half where I was going to continue to build my skills in preparation to leave the active duty. And I landed in this music company where I became the first operations manager, the fourth hire on the team, and eventually grew that team to almost 20 people over the next several years. And it was that journey and all the pain of that journey that said, no one's teaching how to do this. There's plenty of people teaching how to do the marketing, how to do all the other parts of running our business, but actually running the business, there's so few resources out there for entrepreneurs.
Wow. And shout out to Russell. I actually saw him very early in my business. Like, I had heard about him. I was like, cool, this guy's doing something. And this year I finally pulled the trigger and was like, all right, I'm going to invest in ClickFunnels. It is absolutely amazing. Look, my goal is to be in the 2 Comma Club with ClickFunnels. So I'm glad you shouted that out. So can you tell us a little bit, for those people who are listening, who understand they are ready to scale, or they have the ambition to scale, what is business operations? Like, what are business operating systems? How do they work?
So it comes down to the general question of, like, where are you in your business? Where's your time going? Let's just break it down to easy peasy simple. Are you putting your time and energy into the things that fulfill you and the things that will actually grow your impact? None of us, as much as we want to say we got into this, we wanted the laptop lifestyle or whatever, what's actually made you successful, and I want you to acknowledge and actually celebrate this, awesome. Like, you should feel proud of the fact that you are having an impact in the world. So do you want to have a bigger impact, or do you want to keep the impact that you're having? I think all of us want to have a bigger impact. The only way you can do that is by leveling up your level of contribution. And when we talk about operating systems, when we talk about systematizing things, it's about pulling things off your desk, making them into systems to maintain the quality that you have so carefully built, while allowing yourself more time to focus on the things that are actually going to be growing, increasing your impact, and allowing you to do more.
That's amazing. I like that you kept it simple, because people are like, what is this thing? And it's like, it's not really that big. It's hey, where are you now? Where do you want to go? How do we get there?
Exactly.
Keep it pretty simple. Yes. So if someone wanted to, let's say their zone of genius is that they're a coach, because I work with a lot of coaches, but they have to wear so many hats, right? They're working on their marketing. They are working on their sales. They're working on all the different things, and they're doing it all alone. What would be maybe a first step for them as far as putting together a system where they don't have to be the solo entrepreneur, the only person doing all the things?
So first off, let me tell you what not to do. Okay, that's the easiest thing to do. We're told, hey, hire that VA to do your social, hire this other VA to do this thing, hire this other VA to do this thing. And here's what your life ends up transforming into. Just a fair warning before you do this. You spend your whole time managing it, which is like equally miserable. As you might as well be doing it at that point, honestly. What I would suggest instead is to look for someone that can do bits of all of it. So you really want that right-hand person. Forget about 10 hours, 5 hours, 15 hours a week. Find a full-time person that you can train up to do these other things for you. They might now wear many hats, but they're wearing many tactical hats. This means you have one person to manage, and you don't have to deal with all the other things that are in that. And by the way, you can get a better quality person because you're going to be able to hire full-time instead of 6, 7, 8 part-time people or contractors or all this other stuff that we get fooled into thinking will work. It's that relation. And what ends up happening is there starts to form a really solid relationship with that person. You are no longer, it transcends from boss-employee relationship into partner relationship. Yes. Building that relationship is going to happen over time. It's going to happen with trust. And if you're just adding to your team now, that would be my number one recommendation. Find enough stuff for them to be a full-time employee rather than trying to nickel and dime this and make 1,000 paper cuts, so to speak, at finding support for yourself.
Yes, the right hand person, or the operator, as you like to call it. I saw
The
that was
operator.
your word.
Yeah.
Yes, I look. Shout out to Lakeisha. She is my right hand person. People always ask me like, how do I have one of her? I was like, I made her my executive assistant. I was like, hey, this is my vision.
Exactly.
This is my mission. Help me. And she's able to do so many things that frees me up to be able to do the things that I actually enjoy and the things that only I can do. I think so often as a business owner, you're doing not only the things that only you can do, but you're doing all the other pieces, and then you're also kind of irritated. You're like, I don't want to send emails, and I don't want to, have to do pitches, and I don't want to, create a slide deck. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing those things. Those are things that you can easily delegate and hand off, and you can focus on the things that only you can do, like really thinking of new frameworks and really coaching and supporting the clientele that you have. So I love that. Now, if I wanted to get this right hand person, and you said like think about starting at hiring them full time, what would that kind of compensation look like? I like to ask real numbers. What do you think? How much should I be bringing in to find this right hand person, or where should I be in my business before I get this right hand person hired?
So part of it comes down to finances, like where are you financially to be able to afford them. But I want you to also think about this aspect of it. If your time is suddenly freed up, how many more revenue streams are you going to be able to create?
Okay.
So you need to be forward thinking as well as not just thinking about the time here and now. So actually be purposeful about where you're going, the type of things that you're going to be able to create, and start to do some forward projecting on the finances in order to make an actual realistic assessment of where you are and how close you are to being able to bring that person on. Generally, I really like to see around the $150,000 to $200,000 annual revenue before you start bringing that full-time person in, because you're going to need an A player. Let's be perfectly frank about it. And A players, we can usually, you can find someone if they're the right person and they are attracted to the purpose of the business. And that's the great thing about being purpose-driven businesses. Like, you'll find people that are attracted to your mission, not just the job. So often, if it's just like tactical work, like I need someone to do my social media. It's hard to find someone purpose-driven when it's just a task like that. But you are looking for a right hand. So when you're doing that search, you're not just searching for qualifications. You're searching for fit. You're searching for how well do you jive with that person. So I encourage a multiple interview step process, starting with a culture fit interview. Do they fit you? And do they match your unique needs? I use DISC assessments as my primary conduit for that. If it's not abundantly obvious for those of you familiar with the DISC assessment, I'm like a super ridiculously high D. Hard to believe, right? My number one assistant is a super high S. And we match each other really, really well. She's always looking out for me. She reminds me when I'm missing stuff. She'll bring things to my attention. She has that caring aspect of her that's always looking for the details and what I might be missing. And she relies on me to be the visionary, to do my vision work, and she's right there to back me up. So it's about finding that yin to your yang. And what does that look like? You're not going to really know until you go out there and you start doing some of this research, start talking to people, having those conversations, seeing who fits culturally, and yes, doing a personality assessment of who's going to best complement you.
Yes, I think I didn't understand that when I first started hiring people, and I kept trying to understand, like, why isn't it working out? Like, on paper, right, they look like they can do the job, but then when we get to working, it was not, they couldn't work with me, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, you should be able to understand what I'm trying to do. And it took a while to really learn how to hire people and people that I wanted to work with. Again, it's not just about can they do A, B, and C. It's about can they do A, B, and C the way I would want it done and without me having to do a lot of extra work. And that kind of brings me to my next thought about like delegating. Not every business owner is, an innate leader. and right. Sometimes like they know what they want done. It's in their head, but they're not sure how to, deal with an employee or, someone that is on their team. So what are some of your tips for maybe delegating or, managing, or however you need to get the work done when you have, other people that's a part of the team?
Absolutely. So let's start with your known knowns, so to speak. The known things you have to delegate are the things that you're doing right now. you have to delegate those, and that should be the first thing you bring on, because that's tangible, it's measurable, it's all those good things. And a lot of us now, we do a mindset shift when we think about delegation, because we think, oh, I need a project management tool. What's the best one out there? And we do like 10 hours of research to try to figure out the best one. And then we'll look at 14 different examples of what an SOP looks like. Stop it. Okay? Let me give you an easy tactical trick that you all can do like right now to start documenting what you do. And you're a genius. Get a screen recorder. I use ScreenFlow for Mac, and when I'm wanting to document a process, I literally will start ScreenFlow, hit record my screen, and audiate my way through the task. Okay, now I do this, and now I do this. I like to do this because of this. Like, if it feels silly doing it, you're doing it right. Okay? If it doesn't feel silly, try harder. Like, you should be explaining things in a level of detail that's really documenting not only the process, but your thought behind the process. And that's where your part ends. Okay? Folks, I want you to understand that. That's your part of documenting the process. That's it. Nothing more. The person you're bringing on, you give them that training video, say, okay, here's my process. And you allow them to now view it. And now you look to documenting it or putting it into a process system like Asana or ClickUp or whatever. They're all kind of the same. So like, don't ask what the best one is. Just pick one and be done with it, okay? And the most beautiful thing happens when you do this. Not only is this person watching that video with very clear intention because they're creating a process from it, but they're making the process their own. They're putting it, documented in a way that makes sense to them. And they're capturing all those little nuances that you didn't even know were part of it. They're capturing it and putting it into this system that now they can now replicate. So that's the easy way for the things that you already know knowns. For the things that are more unknown, that's the harder part. It's mostly, in my perspective, it's about verbalizing the desired end state, communicating in the way that makes the best sense for you. For some of us, it's the written word. I'm an audio video person. Hard to believe I'm a podcaster. You know that little like video feature in Slack that you can send videos to people? I use that about 17 to 18 times a day, because I will send a video of 30 seconds to 5 minutes to people of things that I want done or ideas that I have to cast the vision and let them kind of own the process of how they're going to achieve it.
Wow, I wish I would have had that piece of advice back in the day. I was sitting here like, how long did I sit making those SOPs? And it's funny because I never thought about like how I like to communicate, because I'm an audio. I send voice notes constantly because I'll have thoughts and I'm like, oh yeah, this and this, or do that, or remember this. I am definitely an audio, and if I have to do something, a video person, but I'm always typing it out. I'm like, okay, do this next, and then I'm putting examples and I'm clipping things. The amount of hours I've wasted. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I actually was just earlier today in a training for AI, and they have something called, I think it's Rewind AI, that'll record your day in detail and things like that.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah, I'm like maybe I don't know, a mix of recording my screen mixed with maybe that would help a little bit depending on how that person communicates. But I'm like, yeah, I sat there and just typed it all out one by one, sentence by sentence, and then handed it over and was like, here's the process. But yeah, now I know a better way. And hopefully you guys who are listening don't make that same mistake of sitting there writing out hours upon hours of content about what to do. Because yeah, they can watch it. Yeah, and I did it for every role. Sorry, you gotta laugh.
Yeah, I mean, as the team grows, the complexity of it grows. But you, as the visionary entrepreneur, the goal should always be to keep you in that place. Mm-hmm. That's where that operator and that relationship. Yours is named Lakeisha. Is that?
Yes.
That's where Lakeisha, when you guys get to your next evolution, like her influence over the company is going to grow and grow and grow. She's going to now take a bigger part in that role of actually turning your thoughts into actionable steps for your team to play. And furthermore from that, you're going to find other people that take on other middle level layers of management that end up owning things too. So once you kind of build this culture of vision comes from the top, and here's how we process things, the amount of ways you can replicate this in a horizontal way, if you think about business in both vertical and horizontally, become astronomical. It's amazing the impact that you can have.
Yeah, Lakeisha, you heard that. Look, take notes. She's probably listening to this like, no, not more responsibility. But no, I think that what you said earlier just kind of hit it on the head, though. When you hire somebody and they're just task oriented, I feel like there is more of like, well, this is what I'm paid to do. I'm going to do what I have to do and get out of here. But when people really are invested, right, I find that it's not like pulling teeth. They want to do more. And then also kind of going to something you just recently said about like, instead of being task oriented, being kind of vision oriented. Like I used to just tell people do this, this, and this. And now I'm like, okay, here's the end goal. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And then they can use their expertise to help me. I don't have to be the person that thinks of everything. And that's definitely allowed us to scale faster because I hired them for a reason. They're experts. I shouldn't have to tell you how to create the video. I'm telling you, this is the goal. This is who I want to attract. This is what I want to do. And then they give me ideas and then they make things really cool. And I'm like, oh, yay. And I don't have to waste time figuring it out. Who knew? Hire somebody quality and you get a better result. So
especially for those things we don't know about. Like
exactly, yes.
I'm graphically design challenged. I know this about myself. I screw up Canva. Okay, I'm that bad. But that's why I have people around me, and I can say, okay, here's kind of what I'm thinking. It might be garbage, but here I really want it to be like pop. And
yes.
I think that's like and they'll run with it. They'll be like, give me like 3 options, and they'll give me 3 options. I'm like, okay, that one. And then we kind of celebrate. Yes. We have those moments to say, hell yeah, in your team. And oh man, especially when you get that little culture of celebration and being able to pat each other on the back.
Yes.
Gratitude is infectious, folks, and it's beautiful what it does for your team.
Yes, I think when you said pop, I was like, yeah, that's me. I talked to my new video editor like that, and people laugh because I'm like, yeah, do the thing, when you, and he's like, and it's so crazy. Look, shout outs to my new video editor. He's 12 and he's amazing. Nice. And I like to get him young, but yeah, it's so crazy. Like when you can connect, right? Like I said, vision based, and kind of the end goal, you start to have your own culture, your own language within your business, and you're able to communicate faster. They're able to kind of think ahead. It's just such an amazing experience that I definitely realized that early on. Like I said, hiring just to hire, just looking at the qualifications wasn't getting me the same result. So I know we've talked about a lot. I know our time is running low, but I do want to talk a little bit about what you do. If somebody wanted to work with you, what can you help them with, and where should they be if they want to get started with you?
Absolutely. So I work with a large variety of businesses, to be completely transparent. Some absolute startups up to some are knocking on the doors of 9 figures. So It's kind of across the board, the people I work with and how I work with them. Really, if you're just kind of getting your feet wet and you're like, hey, Adam, how do I get to that 150, 200 range? I can still help you. We might not be to operator stage yet of hiring that operator. But let's get your marketing system right first. That's a system unto itself. So if you need help with that, let's jump on a call and figure out how to get yourself to that point. And really my bread and butter is working with that direct number 2, helping to kind of flesh out what that looks like, what that role would all entail, helping you through the hiring process, and then ultimately onboarding and training up. Not just your operator, but you, the entrepreneur too. You got some work to do as well. And the interesting thing that happens over time is we'll start coaching, and it'll be just the entrepreneur at first. We'll bring in an operator, and I'll be coaching both of them during our coaching time. Then eventually the entrepreneur stops showing up. They're like, oh, they got this. And I'm like, beautiful. Yes, that's exactly the perfect place to be. This becomes a place for your operator to get continual advice on what to do next, how to feel out what the team is feeling, how to be that emotional leader that the team needs to really scale, and to keep you in your place of genius. And it really becomes about the operator relationship at that point.
I love it. That's a great sweet spot. And I also know that you have another training. It's called the Warrior Mindset Training. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think mindset is one of the cornerstones to success, just in general, in every area of life.
Yeah, I love that training. It's a compilation of different things that I do in my life that have helped me not only to obtain some of the leadership and business acumen that I've obtained, but it borrows a lot from what I did back in the Army to really firm up some really powerful resolve and barriers to the outside world. It's short. I won't say that all the tips that I give you are fun. They're not all fun. Like one of them is a cold blast at the end of the shower. No one wants to do it. I'll be totally honest. 9 times out of 10, I don't want to do it either. But what it does for your chemical balance in your body, it induces a fight or flight experience where you are now ready to take on the day in a different way because you've induced those chemical reactions in your body that are going to have you wanting to bang down the door to get into the office and get rolling to take on the world. So little tips and tricks. They are not, like I say during the training, don't try to do these all at once. But if you do take little steps to overall increasing the activities that you're doing, that will impact your mindset. So it's all very activity based.
Okay, cool. Like, I like a challenge, so I think that might be something I would want to check out. I've tried the cold shower, like spritz. I want to do what is it called, like the plunge where you go into like the ice bath, but I don't like being cold. I don't like being cold. I'm like but I hear that there's great things, so that might be a great medium. Instead of jumping into like a cold bath, like just saying, okay, I'm gonna turn on the cold water at the end. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stand here. So yeah, I think definitely, guys, if you are someone who wants to make this year in business the best year yet, if you really want to start investing in the understanding of how to operate a business that is going to last, that is going to sustain, that is going to be profitable, then you definitely need to connect with Adam. Obviously, we can't go into all his many years and all his amazing tips and strategies on this quick podcast episode, but this doesn't have to be the last time you hear from him. We will be definitely putting in the show notes all his links. If you want to go ahead and get into that warrior mindset training, go ahead and grab that. If you're ready to jump in head first and get some coaching, we'll have that information for you as well. Because I don't want you guys to sit here and listen to this podcast and say, oh, that was great information. I want you to say, how can I utilize that information, right? How can I implement now? How can I go out and find my operator, that right-hand person? How can I learn how to delegate and be amazing? How can I stay in my zone of genius while my team grows and my business grows and my revenue grows? That is the goal for you guys this year. So hopefully you have found a lot of information in this, and definitely remember, a new episode drops every single week. So check it out. Adam, any last parting words before we go?
I'd say, like, biggest thing overall, like, you were put on this earth for a reason. You were designed to do what you're doing. Trust in that reason. Trust in the fact that whether it be God or whatever that's propelling you to this vision, it's being done with purpose. Live up to that purpose, and you will never be disappointed.
Okay, look, we're going to end it there, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great one. And that's a wrap on another episode of IROC Business with Confidence podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining our journey into the world of entrepreneurship. If today's episode inspired you or just gave you the tools to tackle your next business challenge, we'd love your support. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, and rate us with a glowing 5 stars. And don't forget to leave us a review. Are you an entrepreneur with a unique perspective, expertise, or actionable strategies that our audience can implement today to advance their entrepreneurial journey? We're always on the lookout for guests who are ready to share their stories and insights. If that's you, please reach out to us. Remember, entrepreneurship isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. And here at IROC Business with Confidence, we're here to journey with you. Until next time, keep rocking your business with confidence. We can't wait to see where your entrepreneurship journey